For 5 seasons during the late 1960s, Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. was one of the hottest shows on TV. Quite frankly, U.S. television viewers loved Jim Nabors' portrayal of affable country bumpkin turned serviceman Gomer Pyle. It was a show that everyone in the entire family could watch together, and by all accounts, that is what most of America did. During all 5 seasons, the show never fell out of the top 10 in the Nielsen ratings, and during its final year, it was the number 2 TV show in the U.S. So why, oh why, would Jim Nabors simply walk away from this incredibly popular show? That is a question that a lot of folks have asked. It isn't real hard to imagine the show running for at least a year or 2 more. Clearly, the chemistry between Nabors and co-star Frank Sutton was as good as ever. The 2 actors had a genuine affection for each other that made the on-screen dynamic between Pyle and Carter even more fun to watch. Heck, even Ronnie Shell was back after being MIA for a little while. In fact, looking back, it's easy to argue that the 5th season is one of the show's best. Still, it would be the show's last. Nabors was resolute that he wanted to go out on top. That's reason number 1, in fact, but there are 4 more, so give me just a few minutes and I'll share the rest with you. Reason number 2 is the fact that Nabors felt like he was getting too darn old to play Private Gomer Pyle. Nabors was pushing 40. How many 40-year-old guys are stuck as a private? There are generals younger than Gomer. Nabors did his best to hide his age by dyeing his hair and requesting heavy-handed portions of thick makeup each morning before shooting began. That said, it was hard to hide the fact that Gomer wasn't the same young man who was such a delight on the Andy Griffith Show almost 10 years earlier. Reason number 3 is that Nabors wanted to sing and dance. Well, mostly sing. Nabors had an incredible voice which ran counter to what you might expect from good old Gomer. Sure, there were a few episodes where the show's writers were able to work Nabors' amazing vocal skills into the script, but Nabors wanted more, and CBS was prepared to give it to him in the form of a variety show called The Jim Nabors Hour. Reason number 4 was the Vietnam conflict. It's easy to understand why this was a problem. Every night, TV viewers would watch the evening news and get a really heavy dose of reality. And then Gomer Pyle would come on. Sure, it was great to be able to escape from it all and just laugh at Gomer's antics, but you know what? I think in the back of his head, Nabors knew that he couldn't keep playing a Marine who seemed to be blissfully unaware of what was going on in the world. And reason number 5 was a little thing called the rural purge. 1969 was truly the calm before the storm. It's possible that Nabors recognized that there was a changing of the guard at CBS. He might have recognized that it would only be a matter of time before the network would start canceling rural-themed shows like Mayberry RFD, Petticoat Junction, Beverly Hillbillies, and Green Acres, so that they could replace them with hip, urban adult comedies like All in the Family, Mary Tyler Moore, and Maude. I have heard that at some point during the show's final season, the show's producers considered continuing on without Nabors. They thought about moving the focus of the show to Frank Sutton's Sergeant Carter. It's likely that the idea was dropped when Nabors asked both Sutton and Shell to join him as regulars on his variety show. Still, it's kind of fun to imagine what that version of the show might have been like. Personally, I think Sutton could have done it, and possibly should have done it. The variety show format really wasn't Sutton's thing, and network executives quickly, and not so quietly, started putting pressure on Nabors and the rest of his creative team to limit Sutton's involvement. Another idea that I've heard that was bandied about was for a brief second discussion about having George Lindsay take over and retitle the show Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. I like Lindsay, but I think that it would have felt more like a poor carbon copy of the show. Kinda like when the Andy Griffith Show tried to replace Don Knotts' Barney Fife with Jack Burns' Deputy Warren character. It didn't work then, and I'm quite certain it wouldn't have worked on this show either. My guess is that if this idea was considered, it was only for a brief moment, and then cooler heads prevailed. So there you go. 5 reasons why Jim Nabors walked away from his hit television show. Alright, here's one more picture. Really, does it get any better than this? Carter busting Pyle's chops for his latest well-meaning but disastrous shenanigans? Alright, enough yapping. Please share your memories in the comments section below, and while you're at it, please click on the thumbs up icon, and why not consider whether or not you'd like to subscribe to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.